going live. Howdy, howdy. We're live on the Where to Hunt RUT Club Radio. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the time of year we've all been waiting for, the RUT.
Whitetail Christmas.
Cheers. Before we get into stuff, I'll do a quick shout out announcement. This is episode 105, I think. But we're going to do a full hour to hour and a half, depending on calls, of just RUT report. So giving people all sorts of opportunity and time to call into the show to share RUT activity. And that's it. That's all we're doing in the show. We're just talking RUT. We're just taking calls about RUT. We're RUT.
Yeah.
RUT. Okay, so before we get into it, let's call out our sponsors because they're very important to the show. So if I go to click our browser, backwoodsgrind.com. It's weird that it smells like coffee.
You smell like coffee.
The website smells like coffee. Don't believe me? Go check it out. It's backwoodsgrind.com. If you enter in code W2H podcast, you'll save 10%. I recommend trying out their sampler packs. So right here's a good one for $8, whatever the 10% is on that. What's the math? I don't know. 8 times 0.1. Is that 80 cents off?
Keep your boots on, okay? We don't want to smell your feet.
All right. Anyway, I don't want to look like I'm passing a kidney stone when I do math. But if you check this out, you can try a couple different sampler packs, get a few different flavors or blends. I recommend the Camp House and the Fireside. I think I've had the High Noon too.
The High Noon is good. I liked it.
Okay. Switching shoes and boots. Gumleaf USA. I got myself stuck in a swamp bottom on Sunday.
Leave it to you.
For an hour and a half. My buddy Joel found the deepest hole in the marsh or swamp. It's pretty funny. He was stuck for like a solid minute and a half. He couldn't get his leg out. I was like, at what point do I need to go over there and help your ass out? Anyway, I sported my gum leaves, and they did great. They got all scratched up with no punctures or anything like that, and they kept me warm, kept me dry, so I got to, not have wet feet like my buddy did. So that made me happy. Although I didn't sink as deep as he did either, so I'm sure I could have filled them, but they didn't leak.
Every boot's good until you fill it.
If you want to save money on shipping, you can enter in code W2H2019 at gumleafusa.com. Go check these guys out. These are handmade boots. There's no other boots like these that I'm aware of. Are you aware of anything?
Not like these.
You can't get these at big box stores, and there's a reason for it.
Right. Handmade in Europe.
Uh-huh. So, all right. And then lastly, for sake of what we're talking about today, go to heatedhunts.com, and you can check out Heated Hunts. They have these really cool scent dispensers that heat up whatever. If you want to use their synthetic scents, great. If you have your own scents, you can spray that, and then these wicks will heat up through like some battery power here. And it's interesting. I sprayed my boots with Brute Buck, one of their synthetic scents, and then I sprayed my scent dispenser with Doe Estrus. I forget which one that one actually is called. It's got a really fun name. But this is the system, so it's pretty straightforward. It's not hard to use. And if you want to save money on their stuff, you can enter in code W2H Podcast for 15% off. And if you call into the show today, you're going to enter to win a Heated Hunt scent dispenser.
Wow.
For the RUT.
Just for the RUT?
Or whenever.
Okay.
But
you said we could use it anytime we wanted.
I guess you could. I mean, I'm not. Use it whenever you want, folks. But it might help you in the RUT. So those are our call outs. Now let's get into this. Let's get into the show. We got no calls in the queue.
Wow.
Come on,
you guys
folks.
Really want to listen to us talk the whole night?
I have to start a couple watch parties here to get things moving. But man, I swear, I've been calling Greg every morning and, calling out every single field that I see. And, on the way home, I stopped and took a look, and I didn't see any bucks. I saw, 10 does, I think?
Yeah.
Although this morning
you saw one trailing.
I saw a trailing buck this morning. So
I saw one hit on the road.
That's always a great sign.
Yeah.
When you see him dead on the road.
Because it wasn't there last night when I drove through.
You know they're big bucks when the horns are cut off of them.
Right.
I think that's how you can tell.
Maybe.
So, and you've been out last weekend?
Went Sunday after busting hind end to move out of the house. So haven't had a whole lot of time to sit in the woods, but I did hear a buck fight on Sunday night, and then the loser of the
you were telling me that.
Came tuck tail, head down, and every twig he heard snap behind him. He was pretty jumpy looking back to cover his tail. So,
okay.
That was the only thing I saw. But there were a couple scrapes laid that you could tell they'd been pretty well tore up. I could see them from my stand. They're only 20 and 30 yards away.
Okay.
And it's on a pretty well run area that the trails are just beat. They're down to the dirt. There's no canary grass in this area where those deer are walking. I mean, it's around the trail, but it looks like a cow path.
It's just that trampled, hey?
Yeah, it's that trampled, but it's a transition area between two big cornfields. It's a creek bottom, and it's really thick in there. So they have all the security, all the food they could ever need, and water right there.
Okay. Looks like we got a couple folks popping in here. Glenn, what's up? RUT Nut is here. Trevor, good evening, dude.
What's going on, Trev?
We do have our first caller, Kyle. Kyle, you're live on the show. What are you seeing, man?
What's going on, man?
You know, I've been liking seeing your activity.
You've been out more than I have, actually.
Maybe.
I was seeing a bit of movement and everything, and then once this cold really came in, it just kind of shut things down.
You haven't seen much. I know you had told me. So you won one of the heated scent dispensers, and I know you had texted me the one day and said you had a 6-pointer come running into it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was downwind to me, and I seen him come out. He came out of some timbers and stuff like that, and he just kind of had his nose in the air. Well, it wasn't fully downwind. He was kind of quartering. And he just got his nose in the air and got a whiff of it and just came at basically a full-out sprint, probably about 60 yards, and then just kind of cut through it and was just looking. Could definitely tell he was looking for a doe and was very confused on the situation because no doe was around.
He ran right through that scent stream, and then all of a sudden he was out of it and couldn't find anybody.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, he was very disappointed on the situation, and I was
where is she?
Kind of
And you're like, where's your big brother?
And yeah, I was waiting for his older brother, his dad, his grandpa. I mean, because I said he's just a little sick, and I mean, he's probably a year, 2 years. So I mean, he's definitely passing. Not going to waste anything on him, but I mean, we got a real tall tine 9-point, and then there was that super old 6-point I sent a picture to you, Eric, a while ago, and actually just checked one of the cameras this past weekend, and he broke a tine off, so now he's just a
unicorn.
A super old. He's just on one side, so now he's just a 5-point, but he's just, I mean, super old and wide, but I haven't seen any of them, and this time change thing definitely isn't helping too much because
I was thinking about that too.
Come home.
Time change sucks because you get home from work and you're not hunting unless you're lucky enough to get off early to get out there. But I know that's not the case for either of us.
Yeah, I get off of work at 5, and by the time I'm home, it's 5:30. So I mean, really, I can't even.
Makes it hard.
There's seeing nothing, and I mean, I saw 2 little does on the side of the road tonight coming home in a farm field just because they were on the edge of the road. But other than that, you can't really see what's out in the fields and stuff like that. So it's just kind of hard. But I know the Minnesota gun season starts this weekend and stuff like that. So, I mean, granted, it's across the river and stuff like that. But
okay, well that's interesting because you're right by that border.
They're usually a week before us.
Yeah, it's kind of sucks because they kind of have prime pickings because they got their gun season right there in RUT. I mean, it's kind of perfect for them.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I had my wife's cousin put down a brute with his bow, and then a buddy of mine, his neighbor, put down a nice one, both of the bows. So, but yeah, I mean, happy for them, but unfortunately, just haven't seen much of anything. But gonna sit this weekend and see what I can see.
We'll keep an eye on you this weekend, man. I appreciate you calling in. I love following along with your stuff, and you do such a good job of, sharing everything. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been watching you, been watching Greg. I know Greg's been dealing with a move. So I mean, unfortunate timing. That's like people that set up their weddings during It is what it is. I mean, like we said, fortunately, you're not buried in 4 feet of snow moving, but it looks like you got everything kind of situated. And
tomorrow.
Yeah, they're only saying 1 to 3 inches, I think. So just a light dusting.
Well, you guys got snow again down there coming?
It's coming for tomorrow morning, early in the morning. So the commute ought to be a real treat.
Yep, it's going to be
awesome.
Interesting.
Right on. Well,
I know my dad will be
pay attention to everything. And
yeah,
I say Wednesday to Wednesday, so he's got his first crack at it tomorrow. We'll see how it goes for him.
It ought to be good once that snow.
Right on. Yeah, I know you guys. Fortunately, I mean, been paying attention to a lot of you guys down south there. I mean, that snow's kind of been looking like it's been making a move a lot more and everything. I know. Was it Allison put down a real nice.
Yeah,
buck
she
there and stuff
slayed
like
one.
That, so.
Yeah, we'll see if she can call in tonight. I should probably send her a message. I'd love to hear what she has going on. I don't know if I think she shared her story with some other folks, so we'd be honored. But.
Yeah, and I kind of venting out a little bit, but I read her post that there's people always hating on it, and everything, and it's just kind of ridiculous that something as great as that, I know she put down a brooder, but even if it was, a little spike, I mean, who's to say that somebody doesn't put on the time and, it's just kind of ridiculous that people have to bash people for, what's going on.
Get on both ends of the spectrum, man.
Kind of ridiculous.
Just tune it out. Who cares? Just be proud of what you got. And don't worry about what other people say, but
You'll
we
never
got
hear any of us bash
for sure
for being excited for shooting a spiker or a 7-pointer or a number for that matter. If it's got you, if it makes you happy, and that's what you're just happy to take a deer. More power to you. I've been that way for many years. Just meat hunting, hoping to get one, hoping to see one, and then once once you start having success, then it's like, all right, time to move on to the next challenge. I know what it's like to shoot a deer now, and challenge myself to get into something bigger.
Yeah, and I mean, I gun hunted for a while, and I, enjoyed gun hunting and everything like that. But bow, I mean, it's a total different story. I mean, if you can get in on something and, be able to take something with a bow, it's totally different. I mean, you got to be able to, shot placement, everything's a lot different with the bow. And
well, dude, good luck this weekend. Keep us informed. You've been sharing activity on RUT Club and on the Where to Hunt and through Instagram, all that stuff. So we've got a couple other calls building in, so we'll go get to those guys too and keep listening, man. It's gonna be a fun night tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to hearing everybody. So good luck, guys, and
thanks, Kyle.
Take it easy.
We'll talk to you soon, bud.
Talk to you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
I'm always afraid I'm gonna drop my own call.
Don't do it.
Who's next? Trevor with East Coast. What's up? Or should we say Beast Coast?
Beast Coast. What's up, boys?
How you doing, buddy?
You crazy Wisconsinites.
Damn,
What's going on, Greg? What's up, Eric?
Trev.
How's everyone doing?
We're great.
We're doing good.
I was just talking mad shit about you this morning.
It was mad shit.
Good, I'm glad.
I was like, man, he is so fucking nice, that guy. What the hell? Where does he get off being that nice?
Yeah.
That's how that went down.
Oh, oh, thanks for the kind words.
Where are you guys
no,
out
I
in
just wanted to call and check in, man.
They're out of Coventry.
Dude, okay, that's why I asked, because I just realized it's Coventry yesterday. I thought this whole time y'all have been saying Coventry.
Coventry.
I thought it was
See,
Coventry.
so it's
Coventry.
so it's we call it Coventry, Coventry, but the older guys call it Coventry.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They're from the old world, eh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, that's neat. What have you been seeing over there?
I just wanted to check in and all kinds of good stuff. A lot of the younger bucks seem to be on their feet, kind of chasing the does around. The more mature bucks, kind of not so much, just kind of finally starting to see them lay down some scrapes. And actually, I had a really nice buck last week hit a mock scrape of mine, a big 10-pointer that I actually missed last year, Thanksgiving. I haven't seen him since, and he finally showed up and hit a mock scrape last week, so I was really pumped about that. And there's a lot of scrapes and rubs that are getting dropped in the past couple of days. So
Are
things are definitely
you're laying
turning
down
up.
mock scrapes?
Yeah, so I had a mock scrape up with some active scrape, and I had actually my lone wolf on it, and I took some video. I had a big 10-pointer come in and hit the mock scrape. He was there. He came in the morning and came back at night, and that was last week. And I'll be in that set tomorrow morning. I'm going to sit all day. It'll be my first all-day sit of the season.
Perfect.
That's cool. What are you going to snack on? Why don't everybody that's listening, real quick, when you call in or comment, and by the way, anybody calling is going to get entered for a chance to win a heated hunt. But if you want to comment in or call in too on top of RUT activity, tell us what you're snacking on. I'm just really curious.
Yeah.
How are you going to get through that all day
What's your favorite
sit?
tree stand snack?
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't decided yet, man. I'm a big trail mix guy and gummy bears.
So
I think
you're-
that's like
you're
my
Some
go-to
gummy bears?
stand snack.
Gummy bears?
So are you the type of guy that accidentally buys the Haribo gummy bears from hell?
No. No.
Soil your saddle while you're up there?
Soil your saddle. That's funny. What? Not gummy worms, but gummy bears. Huh? I like the
Bears.
cinnamon bears. Those are my jam.
Gummy. Ooh, cinnamon. I've never had the cinnamon ones. I might have to check those out.
So do you think the cinnamon will attract the deer or scare them away?
Well, it's good for tigers.
It's good for tigers. Tigers love cinnamon.
No, they love cinnamon. They hate pepper.
It's pepper they don't like.
I don't remember.
Tigers love pepper. It's cinnamon they don't like.
Cinnamon they hate. Good. No tigers for you. Up in fucking Coventry.
Moving.
Coventry, sir. Coventry.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. That's good.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
things
good
are
report.
definitely heating up, man. I really believe that after this next moon phase here, we call, what I call the RUT moon, man, and that full 24 hours of light is really going to get this estrus going, and I think it's really going to kick off. So it's not a lot of big bucks coming into the shop yet, but definitely some good younger bucks in the 2.5, 3.5-year-old range. So I think after this next weekend here, we got a good cold front coming, possibly some snow. I think it'll get everything kind of kicked off and ready, and I'm really excited for it.
What is the next moon phase? We're in a waning gibbous?
Waning gibbous moon.
Okay. This is why he's my co-host.
What are we, 54% right now?
You guys. Fuck you both. What the fuck? The fuck am I talking to? I don't know. I'm looking at pictures.
That's why you're the okayest hunter, Eric.
Damn right, man.
Eric, you're the okayest hunter. It's all right, buddy.
Picture just goes in a circle, and I don't know what's what. Well, waxing gibbous.
See?
I don't know. That looks like 75% to me. And then that's what?
So-
next is a full moon is next.
So look at waning gibbous.
Oh, we're up there. Oh, my bad.
That's more than 50%.
Yeah, but it's the other direction.
Yeah, but it's still over half is over.
So then
half.
we're at a third quarter next. So that's a half a moon next.
Uh-huh.
And then the waning crescent.
Waning.
Great. Where's the E? I failed grammar, everybody.
Clearly.
And I blacked out during calculus.
Wow. And that's why it looks like he's passing the kidney stone when he does math problems.
It hurts my brain. Okay. Good to know.
So you're a big moon phase guy.
Yeah. So now Eric knows all about the moon phases.
Yeah, he does.
And gummy bears.
And passing kidney stones.
That's right. I hear they're pretty painful.
Hey, I learned something too. Cinnamon gummy bears. I don't think I've had those yet. So.
Dude, what was my ninja tip on East Coast Bow Hunting Podcast, episode 18? Do you remember? I remember.
Oh.
That was
No. Refresh my memory.
It was put a glass of water in
I've drank a lot of
in the
Shabin in
microwave,
between then
and the crust won't get soggy.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
And
that is totally. I remember that.
Always go over the next ridge.
Oh, that's right. Actually, you know what? I do remember that one. Always go over the next ridge. I definitely something I definitely do remember and definitely plays in my head from time to time when I'm in the woods.
That's good stuff. So, I mean, if you're gonna bring pizza out, just do that to it first. Cold pizza?
Yeah.
Stand sounds pretty good. Although I've been seeing a lot of folks put like hot stuff in their Yetis and shit.
Yeah, in their thermal mug.
Mm-hmm. Chili. Mm-hmm. Sounds pretty good. Trev,
To the stand? They bring that to the stand?
Yeah, dude. Connor even packed out a freaking hot coffee. I was like, whoa.
See, I would pack coffee.
Yeah.
During gun season, I pack coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I've never thought of that.
But not during bow season.
It
I got
smells
enough
too fragrant.
Yeah, well, it's just too much going on.
Trev, we got another caller right behind you. We're gonna move you along. But if you wanna call
Absolutely,
back
man.
in,
I just wanted to check in.
Bud, thanks for calling in. It's good hearing from
we
you.
love you.
Absolutely,
for
guys.
Greg,
Hey, man. Can't wait to follow along. We'll see what the episode has to bring, and thanks for joining me in.
Yeah. You have a good night, buddy.
Have a good night.
Hey, you too. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye. Whoop. All right, who do we got next? If I got your name wrong, I'm sorry, but it looks like we have Philip calling from Southeast Ohio. You're live on the show. Did I get your name right?
Yeah, Philip. Yeah,
What's up, Philip?
That's fine. Yes. Hey, Southwest Ohio here. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to the working class bow hunters.
Booyah.
I saw a notification pop up here and said you guys were live, and I wanted to check you guys out. And anything deer hunting this time of year, I'm all in. So what's up?
What do you got to share with us?
Yeah, what are you seeing in Southwest Ohio? So Southwest Ohio.
Southeast Ohio.
No, I thought it was Southwest.
Yeah, Southwest here. So it's starting to pick up. Last week, on the way into work, I make it a purpose to go out of my way to glass some fields on the
Me
way in,
too.
and I saw some younger bucks
Don't tell my wife.
around some does.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I leave early. I leave early for work just so I can go out of my way. It's hilarious. Tomorrow, I'm taking the day off tomorrow, and it's going to be my first all-day sit. I've been tracking down a 14-pointer I got out this way.
Oh, wow.
And he's elusive, but I missed him Saturday. I got in the stand Saturday morning, and my trail camera had him cruising by at 5:30. So he's in the area, and it's just kind of a chess match with him at this point.
So you just missed him on his tour through.
Yeah. So I'm active duty in the Air Force. I've been stationed all around the U.S., and I've been fortunate enough to get back to the Midwest. I'm from Indiana originally, so getting back kind of close to the roots with some bow hunting. I've hunted North Carolina, Texas, Louisiana, Florida, and back up to Ohio. So
Holy cow,
picking
man.
the weight class back up with these guys.
That's pretty freaking great. You've been all over the place.
Well, some of it was, personal travel on my own, just being, in the right place at the right time, taking time off and going over and seeing what you can do. Last year, so real quick, we had a real bad outbreak of EHD in one of the areas I could hunt this year, and kind of wiped everything out. So I was a week out from having a friend of mine come up from North Carolina, and I had to quick move stands and, kind of speed scout an area. I put a camera up on an area that had a lot of deer sign in it, and this 14-pointer was all over it. So 3 weeks later now, we're still kind of we're playing the chess match with them, trying to get the right place at the right time and let the areas cool down. But with the ruts picking up a little bit here, does are active, they're moving. I've got trail cam pictures all day long. Today I went in actually to kind of go and do a quick look. We had some rain coming through this morning, And on my way in to swap cards in the camera, take advantage of the rain to knock out any scent, I bumped a doe and I stopped, and as she took off, there was a 6-pointer behind her that was kind of running in tail. So he was looking from a distance and definitely interested, so it's starting to pick up out this way.
That's good to hear. So hopefully there's some people listening from Ohio. We got listeners all over the place, but I think we haven't had a caller from Ohio in a while, so that was an unintentional rhyme. But that's good to hear, man. And I just noticed your comment that came through. You're eating apples and peanut butter and crackers? Or apple and peanut butter crackers?
So I'll eat an apple. So Ohio is it's a state where you can bait, and every hunter to each his own, right? So myself, if I'm going to eat an apple, I get down to the core, I'm not going to munch on it, so I can just toss it out of the stand, and best case scenario, something comes in interested on my scraps.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's actually a really good idea. I feel like apples always make me hungry. Does anybody else have that? Do you have that?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like,
I think it's the sugars in them.
That's where the peanut butter cracker comes in, right? Kind of tie you over a little bit.
Yep, peanut butter. It's got more protein in it.
Yeah, careful. I try not to introduce, any type of scent that's going to kind of throw the red flag to a deer. But I think an apple and peanut butter, I think they'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, especially the apples. I mean, unless it's like foreign to the area, but it's hard to think about. Like some guys, like beef jerky's a big one, right? And like even if you're bringing chili out to the stand, you got to think.
I wouldn't do that during bow season, but that's just me.
So gun season, who gives a shit? Because you can shoot,
you got
1 to 300 yards or something like that. But bow, you want them in at 20 yards or less. Oops.
Right, yeah. Gun season, I'm not even wearing camo half the time, so.
Blue jeans and an orange vest, probably.
Yep. Gun in hand.
That's about it. Yeah, I want to hunters.
And I'm assuming weather in Ohio is not different from what we have here in Wisconsin, but just in the Midwest, what's the weather there? You guys having any snow or super cold temps or anything like that?
So we've been bouncing back and forth with some cold shots. Today got up to about almost 60. Tomorrow's going to be near the same. I think we're looking at mid-50s tomorrow. We're going to drop into the lows in the 20s coming into the weekend.
Yeah.
But we're riding a ridge of high pressure that's coming in. And I was looking earlier today, and we're supposed to be sitting at like 30.4, almost 30.5 tomorrow before the afternoon, and it's going to drop. So my goal is tomorrow to get out there with the pressure high, the rut's coming in. It might get them up on their feet and moving around. So I think tomorrow's going to be a good day. I've called around to a couple of processors and, kind of checking on wait times, kind of doing some background scouting, and the deer numbers are picking up. So
that's smart.
It seems to me that the deer are on their feet.
So you're calling meat processors to get an idea of what's going down in the area.
That's right. Yeah. Call your local butcher shops and see how many deer they're having come in. Because, let's be honest, right? You go to a parking lot and you're talking to the guys and saying, hey, what are you seeing? You're going to get a half-sided story, right? Nobody's going to sell their picture. But anybody that's putting deer down, they're more than willing to tell you about it. And the best place to call is going to be your butcher shops. They're going to let you know, we've seen a lot of deer coming in the last couple of days. Well, that's a good indicator that, hey, deer are up, they're moving on their feet, they're daytime walking, and you got a chance at these guys. There's a lot. Everybody's got their story, right? Whether it's moon phase, temperature, pressure, their grandpa's knee started hurting. I don't know, right? But there's
That's
always
pretty real, actually. That's funny you say that.
Yeah, there's always the thing that gets everybody in the woods, but when it comes down to it, it's just about you being in the woods.
Right. Being in the woods with the right
so real quick, so hey, back to your first call real quick with that buck shaming. I don't want to stay on it too long, but I just want to let everybody know I don't buy your tag and nobody else buys my tag. So as long as you're happy and you're putting meat in the freezer and you're happy and you got that smiling face around those antlers, let's hold everybody up and let's congratulate them, because whether it's bow season or gun season, wherever you start at, there's only 10% of us in this nation that hunt, and the fact that we get to share that with somebody else and we all have that common interest, we should help that bond us together rather than tear us apart.
Hey, Phil,
we appreciate that.
Thank you for saying that.
It means a lot, and I can keep saying that till I'm blue in the face, but if everybody else keeps saying it too, and then we still all stand behind it, it's going to go somewhere. 100%.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's something we all need to stand by. I mean, I don't ever put a guy down, and there's nothing better than listening to somebody's story of a good successful deer hunt.
Well,
and I think stories are going to go up.
That's what it's all about for a lot of us. I mean, as a kid, I had an uncle that had some of the best deer stories. And I'll listen to him tell them for the 30th time now. There's nothing better than a good deer story.
Yeah, no, that's what it's all about. When you're sitting in the stand and you're not seeing anything moving, at some point or another, your mind has probably gone back to the fact of a time where, you had a really good hunt.
I appreciate you saying that. I was listening to the Hunting Collective podcast earlier today. I had some windshield time, and it was the episode, I think their latest one with Ranella on there, and that's what they talked about, grips and grins, but they talked about that specifically. That's something that I've talked about a lot on probably every other episode for the last year. I think I bring that kind of stuff up, and I deem myself the quote-unquote okayest hunter for that reason, because I don't want to take flack from people saying I haven't gotten a Pope and Young or what have you. I just, right. I'm here to learn and enjoy my memories that I'm making and have adventures, and that's it. And if that adventure involves tagging out on something, I have no shame at all. To me, if it's important, it's important. That's that. But you see people that'll kind of couch things like, oh, I needed the meat, or oh, it was just a really exciting shot, or oh, my son had to get it, or oh, I waited all season, didn't see anything. It's like, I'm really excited for people to post. And social media has been around for a long enough time. We've been doing Grip and Grims for even longer, but now people feel the need to only post if they get something worthy, in quotations. Hopefully, if people post a button buck or a doe, they can do it by just saying, I'm proud of this deer, and that's it. Do not add any justification to it. Just be fucking proud. I'm on my soapbox.
Yes, and you know what? I'm gonna say what goes farther than I tell you what bothers me more than somebody sitting on the end of the keyboard telling somebody you should have let a deer go another year or something like that. When I see any post on social media and the person that puts it says not the biggest, or
yeah, it's sad. It's just sad.
Own that deer, man. You put the time in and you stuck it out, and he got your heart pumping, and you stuck him. You own that, man. That's your tag. Be proud of that. Don't let nobody put you down. That's your standard, and it's your. And I'm here to tell you, I'm proud of you. And if nobody else will do it, I'm going to shake your hand, pat you on the back, and tell you you're more of a man or woman than half the people going to the grocery store doing it the easy way.
That's a great fucking thought right there.
Yep.
I went to the woods to get my food. Where did you go? So, dude, Phil, I don't know. Have you listened to the podcast before? Are you a first-time caller? First-time listener? Both?
I'm first-time caller and first-time listener. Like I said, I've been following the working class bow hunter for about 3 years now. I picked them up on my last deployment.
Great guys.
And I saw a notification pop up and said that they were doing a watch party and listening to you guys. I said, you know what? If it's good company from them, it's good company for me. Let's hop in.
Beautiful. Well, we're happy that you called in, man. Thank you for the good words. And thanks for the activity report and telling us what you're snacking on. I don't know why that's what I'm interested in, but that's what we're going to go with today.
Hey, I'll drop you guys a picture of that 14-pointer I'm hunting down in your comment section there, and let's take a look at him. He's a bruiser.
Thank you. And for the record, by the way, thank you for commenting, because you're entered to win a heated hunt scent dispenser and some scents. So we'll do that raffle giveaway tomorrow. We'll spin the wheel of death. It's not actually wheel of death.
Hey,
Raph.
Good to hear.
Thanks again.
All right,
man.
thanks,
Well,
guys.
I guess
Hey,
it
have
will
a
be the
good
wheel of
night.
death, right? If they win and you get a deer, then I guess that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. We appreciate it, Philip, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Philip.
Yeah, take care.
Take care. Bye now.
What a good guy.
Yeah. Excellent.
I'm really happy he said what he said. Hey, fellas, gals, everybody watching. The number's on the bottom of the screen, 262-757-4122. Call in, tell us your RUT activity. Tell us what you're seeing, where you're seeing, or just tell us what you're eating in the tree stand, because we're real curious.
Real curious.
I don't know why. What do you eat in the tree stand? Do you have your go-tos, or you just grab whatever?
I usually bring a snack gun season. Bow season,
Nothing?
No.
What about an all-day sit? What are you going to do in bow season for an all-day sit?
I haven't had time to do an all-day sit.
Well, let's just pretend you did.
Pretend I did. It's probably going to be Reasons candy.
What the fuck is that?
Really? We can't be friends.
Reasons?
Yeah.
Like-
Reason.
Oh, yeah. The REISEN?
Yeah.
Not respect.
Come on. Yeah.
What is
dark,
that?
Dark chocolate. some
Oh,
caramel.
yeah. Those
man.
are fucking out of control.
And then if it's really cold outside, you almost break your teeth when you chomp into one.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I
Challenge
do like
in
the
itself.
Reasons. So do you like the Reason better or Dove?
The
Chocolates?
Reasons.
Okay.
Yep.
That's not food, though.
It's not food. It's a snack.
What about...
I'm not out there to eat a meal in the tree stand. I'm out there to shoot my meal out of the tree stand.
So, Reinhardt Nutto, if I think I'm saying your name right or wrong, I have no idea if you're really live. We are really live. We're 100% live. So if you call the number, we're going to talk to you real time. Just saying. I like sunflower seeds as a snack.
That's
Pack them into your cheek.
plain ones
I don't care.
or the dill pickle.
The dill pickle are actually probably really good.
They're my favorite.
There's a bourbon flavored one a while back, a Jim Beam.
Yep, and barbecue.
Yeah,
and
barbecue's
ranch.
too much. Ranch
Yeah,
too much. The
ranch
pickle
too
is what's up.
I like
That's where
that
I'll go
pickle.
to. Mm-hmm.
Dill pickle for sure. Giants or Davids?
I guess the Davids more often.
What?
Can you hand me that working class hat over there? I'm just gonna. Ooh, you wore it last, actually.
Yeah. Should I wear it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right,
Let's
I'll wear
represent, since we just got a caller from those fellas. That's the Wisconsin working class hat right there. Look at that. I got my catching deers on. I also have my Venado flannel on.
Same here.
Yeah, but yours has spit up on it. I think mine does too, actually, right
It
here.
is from your little man.
Yep.
You christened my Venado.
My little man is my son, by the way.
Your man.
Let's just
Your
be
little
clear
man
what the
child.
fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
Some
Not your
spit
other.
up my little man. I'm
cool.
sorry. I don't mean to go there.
Yeah, you did.
I can't help it.
Already passed it.
We're live, everybody.
Break line blue.
You starve yourself. All right, so I'm hungry for the kill. All
There you
right,
go.
well, I like that. That's actually, that's a clever statement. So we do have a caller from Wisconsin. We know this guy.
We know that guy.
I think I hit talk. Sam, you're live on the Where to Hunt Rut Club Radio. What's
Hey.
up? buddy?
Afternoon.
And pour some more
Evening.
scotch.
Hey, man. Greg, your beard is getting so dark.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's gnarly.
It is gnarly.
Um,
The trimmer's packed away, my friend.
I'm trying to do a half mustache for November, but I'm not going to go full mustache. I just can't do it.
It's a perv stash. What are you talking?
were you guys in the woods today, or did you just
No.
come from work and start podcasting?
Yep. Right
The latter, yeah.
Yep, straight from work.
I was in the woods on Sunday. I was on a conservancy property in Dousman area-ish and got stuck in a swamp for a long time. Although I did see a big buck. I did see an 8-pointer, but he was dead. And some guys came in at 7:20 tracking him from the night before, and they found him in the marsh. So I went by to say howdy and take a look-see, and it was very nice. But it was a day late and a buck short, I guess.
Wow, that's random. You just walk upon them, or you
No,
follow
I
what?
was sitting there. They walked past me. I had no idea. I whistled, thinking they were just, some guys coming in late morning at 7:30, and I was like, "Who the flip is coming out to a conservancy property where there's limited access at 7:30 in the morning?" And then I realized really quick when I heard, "Holy shit!" that they got a buck. So I had to go check it out.
Cool. Did you have to draw for that conservancy piece, or did you?
Yes.
Is that just
Yep,
walk-in access?
I put in every year for it. I won a draw this year and last year, and I've won several years, but just not consecutively. So different properties, different years. But I've hunted this property now 3 times. I hunted it when I was back in college. I hunted it when I had my daughter, and now this year again. And then last year I had a different one, and the year before, a couple years back I had a different one. So it's Waukesha County Land Conservation.
I'll hit you up offline about that. I've got another one that I'll run by you that you could consider for next year if you're interested. Unless this was the one I'm thinking, but
No,
we'll
it's
talk
great.
offline
You
on that.
put in some money, and if you don't draw, they keep it, and if you do, you get it. And so it's like $10. It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing, Sam?
Yeah, I would agree. Well, man, I haven't been hunting. I've been filming.
So you're seeing
sold my
stuff.
tag on the second day of the season.
Did you?
So
Soon to
I've
be
just been
revealed.
driving around seeing deer and what's that?
Soon to be revealed.
Oh yeah. I didn't share any photos of it on social media or anything yet. I actually no. Come to think of it, I did. I recently posted it on my Instagram page,
Gotcha.
but I didn't post it on Facebook or anything. But yeah, we got it was a wild circumstance. We had 12 different bucks around us at once, 2 different bachelor groups that were still locked together, and things happened, and put an arrow through one, and that's all I can say for now.
For you.
You'll see it in the video.
I was gonna say, I imagine based on the Chase Nation stuff, we'll see a really great debut video, which is kind of cool that you're doing it that way. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the past, sometimes you're so excited you end up sharing it, and then all the excitement and energy is blown, and then by the time the episode comes out, it's already been seen and talked about. So, but I will tell you, since you're talking about rut activity, what I've seen lately, just from being behind the camera in the woods, and then just from driving around doing some scouting and whatnot, and that is that the deer have been moving around like crazy for not just now, but I would say up to about 7 or 8 days ago is when I really started to see chasing going on. Even where I live, just seeing bucks nudging does through the yards and whatnot. I've seen activity, but right now has been on fire. In fact, 2 days ago was really. My wife and I took the kids for a drive just so we'd have a chance to talk. They're young enough to go home. They want every bit of your attention, so you know how that is.
Yes.
So we went for a drive so they would have a chance to take a nap and we could actually say hi to one another. And then anyways, we drove around through the country. We went by where a good friend of mine is hunting. He's been passing deer left and right, including deer pushing the 150s. And, when I hear about a guy passing deer like that, I'm just like envious, and, anyways, I asked him why he's passing this split G2 buck. Yeah, he's just really cool. I'll send you some pics of him. And he says, well, there's been rumors of a really big deer in the area, and I haven't seen him yet, but I don't want to, tag out too soon and then miss out on an opportunity. I said, well, I get it, but boy, if he comes by a third time, you better shoot that thing. And he said he would. Well, lo and behold, as Christy and I are driving around with the kids, I spotted that buck that he's passed, and he was dogging a doe. And so I threw it in reverse and backed up a little bit, got my phone out and started filming because I didn't have my camera with me. And I couldn't believe my eyes. There was 3 different bucks with this one doe. And one of the bucks was between 170 and 180 register, probably pushing that 180 mark.
Okay.
Just a mammoth buck. And so I called James. He didn't answer, so I texted him. I said, listen, dude, here's a screenshot on X. Here's where that monster that you're thinking about is, and he's headed right for you. He's about 200 yards away. So he texted me back, and he was just fired up. So I had that bit of excitement where I couldn't stop, like, pulling my phone out to see if he was, getting a chance at that deer. Meanwhile, Matt Hosel, my buddy in Lake Mills area in Jefferson County, is texting me that there's a giant out by one of his farms, and our guy Cody from Chase Nation's in one of the stands. Matt Hosel tagged out early this year, just like me. So all he can do is sit back and watch or film. So he invited Cody to come out and hunt, and Cody's in the stand. And here's this just giant, again, 180 class deer. I'm gonna say pushing more than that even. We got this whole thing on film, this giant cutting across the field, and then and heading right for Cody. So he texts Cody. Cody's now got his camera going. He's got a 2-year-old 10-pointer in front of him. Then he's got this shooter 8-pointer, this old buck, scraping and rubbing just out of range, and then this giant cutting across the field right for him. And then this gimpy buck with a busted right front shoulder, or bum right front shoulder.
When is this? Was this like last?
This is two evenings ago, not yesterday, but the evening before.
This is fresh. Got it.
Yes, yeah, this is fresh, and this gimp buck comes across the field, and starts posturing towards this, giant. Both deer are huge. The gimp is probably 150s, but he's got he's got something up with his arm, or his shoulder, because Matt shot him 2 years ago with his muzzle loader, and was a little low. So this is the same deer that we've filmed 2 years in a row now since Matt hit him the first time. Then we saw him again late season bow hunting, had him at about 80 yards, couldn't get him to close, and then filmed him the next year, and then again now this year. And that buck was the only reason that giant didn't keep making his way towards where Cody was. But, Cody was in the hot seat. So I'm sitting at home now. We get home, and I'm flipping my phone out constantly, like, is James going to shoot the giant that I saw, or is Cody going to shoot the giant that, that Matt saw? So it was a really exciting night.
Dude, that's exciting. That is exciting.
Yeah, man. So things are really turning up. I mean, you got guys like Travis Kissel up in the Sheboygan area, who's not even got his camera arm set up in the tree, and he's got a 125, 130 class deer walking by him. He just posted that on Facebook a few minutes ago. We filmed him with his phone and gave him the pass. Deer are on their feet all day long right now, so if you're hunting, you can do an all-dayer. You better be out there all day long.
I wanted to do an all-day on Sunday, and my wife, bless her soul, was going to let me, but I was with my buddy, and we had drove together, and he couldn't. God bless his wife's soul. She was taking care of his 2 kids, too, and it was a judgment call. Like, we just couldn't do it, and we are on that conservation property, and I was like, we're in a spot now that if we can just hunker down here till last light, we might be onto something. We know where all the does are bedding, and we could glass for days on that property. So, man, it's one of those days where I didn't want to come out of the woods at all. I thought that was going to be a big day on Sunday, but I'll get out again this weekend, hopefully. And I'm basically doing a sit a weekend. That's what my wife's let me get away with. That's what my job's let me get away with. And my dad, he'll be out Wednesday to Wednesday on some private land that my uncle owns. I'll be really excited to hear how his sits are going. He's done really, really, really well on this particular property the last 10 years or whatever it's been. He got a 16-pointer many years ago and just getting huge bucks on this property out in, I think it's Jefferson.
Yeah, it's
I won't say,
County.
But Jefferson County. Private land in Jefferson County, he's done well, but he's earned it, One of these years, I'll take a whole week off and try to plan it right. But, a lot of us got to.
You got to do it, man. You really got to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm excited to do it, man. I'm this close. I spent 10 days in Disney World in Florida, so when I say family first, I really mean it, and that's one of those things. Like that's the wrong word. I chose to use my PTO for that. So,
Well, I'll leave you both with this. You guys both have tags in your pocket, and you've got one thing on your side when it comes to that work-life balance, and that is this year is different than the last several, and that gun season is a lot later in November.
That's
it
true.
Almost feels like a week later. So, you're not going to have to worry about running out of time before, all the Orange Army comes out and starts blazing with guns.
I like that.
So you got time. They're going to keep moving, dude. They're just going to keep on moving. They'll go until there's no does left to breed. So good luck this fall, guys.
Dude, thanks for calling, Sam. We appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Adios.
See ya.
All right, we got next up Zach. I think I know the Zach that's calling. What's up, dude? You're live on the Where to Hunt Rut Club Radio.
I'm doing well. I apologize. I just started listening. I just got done with the photo shoot,
I know
and I wanted to make sure to call in.
No, you've made it. This is it. I'm glad you called in, man. I haven't heard your voice in a while. Yeah. So you've been doing okay? You've been doing good?
Yeah, I've been doing real good, and I've also been... I know you know a little bit of the story, but I had a rough weekend. I had one of the best weekends of hunting in my life, but also one of the biggest heartbreaks in my life as well.
So tell us about that.
Well, so I've been doing a lot more waterfowl hunting this year just because of I'm trying to get my dog as many repetitions as I can. So I haven't been bow hunting at my cabin since like October 1st. And last weekend I took Friday off, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for kind of my big rutcation.
Nice. Rutcation. I like that.
And I checked the cards to kind of get a pulse on what was going on, and I noticed that there was, some scrapes popping up. And my kind of mindset is any time between October 28th and November 14th is, if you can get off and get in the woods, it's never going to be a bad time. And with it being a little earlier than I normally take my rutcation, my plan was to kind of just get in some areas where I think bucks would be starting to cruise a little bit, do some sign marking, and then also kind of look for those first couple does that are coming in. And on Saturday morning, I had my number one buck come into 20 yards, and I let an arrow go, and I connected, but unfortunately didn't make a killing shot on that deer. And I don't know how in detail you want me to go, but over the course of the next couple of days, I ended up seeing that deer 5 times and actually got another shot opportunity on him and missed again. So,
when you say you missed, what do you think happened?
So, I was hunting there's like this open point that goes out into the swamp, and on all sides, this point is kind of in the shape of a bowling pin.
Okay.
It's actually like a food plot, but it's all ate out, so there's nothing in there other than a foot egg licking stick and then a big scrape that I've gotten pictures of them on over the last couple of weeks. And the way the stand is set up is I'm sitting at like the base of the bowling pin looking out, and it's just a thick wall of trees all around the bowling pin. So I heard a buck deliberately walking up in there, and I knew he was going to step out, but it's so thick I couldn't really see what was coming. So I turned my camera on, pointed at where he was going to be, and then basically like maybe 2 or 3 steps before he got up into the opening, I got a glimpse of him, and for some reason I thought it was like a smaller buck, so I didn't come to full draw. Well, all of a sudden, this number one deer that I'd shot the day prior steps out, and he's 5 yards broadside. But I can't get drawn because I'm worried he's going to see me. So he started walking away, and he's at 30 yards. And as he was walking away, I pulled back. And long story short is I bleated at him to get him to stop. He gave me a quartering away shot, and I just was so flustered and rushed. I just punched the trigger and completely missed on that one. And that one was completely my fault for not staying calm and just getting ahead of myself. And I was just rushing it and not thinking about what I was doing. So that's what happened.
Let me stop you for a sec. So you said you bleated at him. I know very little about calling, and Greg probably knows more than me because he always knows more than me about most things. Why not a buck run or something like that? Why the bleat? That was an intentional thing?
It was kind of just a mix of both. Like I said, I was so flustered. It's a noise I've never made before. I just went like, blah.
So wait, but you did that noise yourself? It wasn't a call? Shit, dude.
No, that's just my mouth doing weird things. Oh my gosh,
so you're just like freaking out at this moment. Okay, well that's a good.
Oh my gosh,
a good fact to have here, because these are things that happen to us in the deer stand, and we don't when you're in the moment, it's really hard.
Oh my gosh, dude! I was all about to just yell, "Hey, stop!" Like I was just absolutely, because I shot this deer Friday morning, and immediately, and that shot, I still to this day don't know what happened. He was literally at 22 yards, and I hit him low, and I knew right away the shot was low, but when I saw the blood, I thought maybe I'd got his heart because it was spraying pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, 22 yards, man, and I don't know what happened because on that shot,
what kind of sight pins are you shooting? Real quick, I'm going to keep interrupting you because I just want the facts out of the moments I'm hearing. So, are you shooting a 3 sight pin, a single sight pin? What are you shooting?
I have a 5-pin sight.
Do you think you're on the wrong pin?
And nope. I mean, it goes 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. And I don't know, because I was completely calm. I don't feel like I flinched.
Interesting.
So this is something I've struggled with, is just getting, kind of blacking out in the moment when it all comes together. And so he was walking, and I went to punch the pin, and in the video, so I film on my hunts, you can actually see my bow kind of flinch, and that was when I was going to go pull the trigger, and you can see me physically I pulled the string off my face, and you can hear me go, took a deep breath, put it back on, stopped him, settled the pin, and let the arrow go. So I was completely calm. I gathered myself. I don't know what happened. The arrow just sailed low. And I think after watching it in slow-mo, what happened is I just kind of skinned his belly. There was some white hair and kind of like some fatty stuff on the arrow.
Sure.
And I think I just caught a little bit of that, which caused him to bleed a little bit.
What kind of arrow? What kind of broadhead are you shooting?
I'm shooting Carbon Express pile drivers, and on that shot, I was using.
Is that
an
a fixed
NLP
or a mechanical?
Oh, it's the arrow.
That's a mechanical. I've been a big fan of mechanicals. This one I can't blame on the broadhead, man. I didn't put it in a spot that it could kill. I just grazed his belly. I mean, I could have been shooting a friggin' I don't know. I could have been shooting the biggest thing in the world, and it was just too low.
This is more of a therapy session. What's happening right now?
Oh, dude, yeah. And then, so kind of to add to the story, to add to all this drama, he ran into our neighbor's land, and I had to wait forever just to get permission to go and track him. And when we started running out of blood, our neighbor's kind of particular about their land, and he didn't want us in there in the first place. So when we ran out of blood, he said, well, that's it. It's basically time for you guys to go. So I couldn't even do like a grid search or a body search. So, in my opinion, that's the fair thing to do for a deer, even if you don't think he killed it, is put in every effort to find it just in case he did. So when I saw that deer again the next morning, I was just elated, and I put a game plan together for that night, and it worked out just as perfectly as I thought I would. Hindsight being 20/20, what I should have done is, before he stepped out in that food plot, I should have came to full jaw, and I could have just pinwheeled him at 5 yards, but I just didn't do it.
Man.
Things happen.
Buddy,
yeah.
you've had a rough go about it. So what's the next step for you with this?
Well, I got some family obligations, so I don't know when the next time I'm going to get after him is. The good thing is this deer obviously wants to be on my land, like 5 encounters over the course of a couple days. My hope is that he just hangs around until I can get out there next, and then the place I saw him the most is this big kind of CRP field. That's where my rifle stand is. So worst case scenario, hopefully I'll get a crack at him with a rifle.
Sure.
Man, my heart breaks for you.
Oh yeah, it would have been the biggest deer in my life for sure. And then just to give an overall report, I saw, for every doe I saw 3 bucks this weekend.
Really?
They're moving, and I think they're seeking. Yep, I think they're just seeking.
Just so people
moving
know, I don't want the longitude latitude kind of thing, but like generically speaking, whereabouts are you?
I am somewhere between Wittenberg and Big Falls, kind of in that Wittenberg, Iowa area.
Gotcha.
What county is that?
So I'm in Shawano County.
Okay. So that's more than what I'm seeing. So like I was telling Greg, I was driving so I live in Oconomowoc. I was driving to Madison for work the last 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. And normally I drive to New Berlin. And on my way into what I was doing this morning, I saw a shooter for sure for me, like especially at a distance, a nice buck just nose to the ground fucking running across the field open at so I left my house at 7 o'clock. So it was probably somewhere between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. where I saw this activity. I've not seen a lot of buck activity. On the way home around 4:30, I posted in my Instagram. I went out of my way on the way home to the gym actually. And I had seen probably 10 deer total, all does. Not a single buck in sight, and all in the field. And I saw, a doe hanging back on a field edge like a transition line, and she wasn't coming in the field. And I thought, oh, that must be a buck. And I get the binoculars out because I got them in my truck, like ready to go. So I'm glassing every fucking field I can. Making my wife and kids stop it with me every field I see to glass, and just no bucks. I called Greg and he said hello, and I said no bucks, and that was. Like what? And no bucks when I was hunting. No deer at all actually, which is shocking because we were in a spot to glass for miles, man, and we didn't see any movement. And I joke and say we were a day late and a buck short because the night before a guy shot a great 8, and I don't know, man. we're right at that cusp, I think. And you said you were a little early with it as far as the rut is concerned, but dude, my heart breaks for you, buddy. I hope there's a great ending to the story, and if not, it's okay, man.
Chuck it up to experience.
Yeah, lots of lessons learned. Unfortunately, just the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's how most of us end up learning is the hard way.
We got to get you in studio, Zach. You let me know when you can come here.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good, man. We'll do.
We'll go to the next caller. I appreciate you calling in, buddy. Hang in there and keep us posted, please.
Yeah, we'll do. See ya.
Bye.
Take care.
So we got another caller. Joel, I know you're Glassland Fields. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what's going on, E-Money?
Fuck you, E-Money.
So,
that's the first time you've called me E-Money.
I would have called in earlier, but I was out in the woods, not shooting anything tonight.
Were you out tonight, you fucker? You didn't call me?
No.
We're not friends anymore.
No, I actually just bailed out of work a little early, didn't tell nobody, and just went out there. So.
Well, you just told everybody.
No, I went and sat, and I didn't see nothing. So I got going on the rut activity. So I seen a good 10 or 12 pointer up the side of the road, just cruising, just didn't even care about nobody else. It looked like his head was down, but he wasn't really chasing too much.
I saw a buck
another
by
report
your house last night.
Yeah. I actually had one in my front yard. Funny, I go out hunting.
Go on.
I don't see anything while I'm out there hunting. I come home, and there's a freaking deer right in my driveway.
Shut the fuck up.
Isn't that how it always works? Yep. A little spiker sitting right in my driveway eating off the crab apples.
Oh, my gosh. Classic.
Yeah. I should have left I should have cocked my bow and just shot one in my driveway.
Joel and I went hunting on Sunday on the Conservancy property in, was that Dousman? You would know. I don't know.
It's Ottawa area.
Okay. And the only buck we saw was the dead one getting fucking carted out of there on that ATV, four-wheeler, whatever it's called. It was a really nice looking buck. I've been happy with that buck. We didn't see shit.
Oh, yeah. I wish I would have been there the night before because that's where the guy shot it from, was about 10 feet from where I actually thought would be a great spot to sit.
Uh-huh.
And it was. I was just a day late.
Day late and a buck short. That's what I've been saying. I thought you liked that.
Yeah, well, I talked to one of my buddies. He said he was out hunting the other night, and he seen a doe
Steve or Clint?
About 200 yards out in
Jason?
the field. He made a grunt call, and that doe, he didn't know it was a doe at the time. He just saw a deer. Came all the way within 40 yards of him, a doe, off a grunt call.
Really?
But there was a buck out in the field, didn't even move, didn't even care.
Do you think the doe was one of
Which
those
I
does
think
with
is
antlers?
completely odd.
You think she was packing some heat down below?
Yeah, maybe. You never know nowadays, Maybe she's on hormone
Which
pills.
bathroom does she use? That's what I want to know. I was in Madison yesterday and today, and there's a unisex bathroom. That's a thing. That's a real thing. I don't mean to go there. I'm just saying. It's a buck doe bathroom.
Yeah, who knows, man? Maybe they're going to start cutting their antlers off thinking they're safe.
Oh, man. I've been seeing a lot of deer on the side of the road on the highway with antlers cut. So that tells me that there's some bucks moving, some bigger bucks. If the antlers are cut, I feel like if they're not, you can tell. Like it's either a doe or a small buck. If they're cut, that must mean it's a bigger buck.
Yeah. I'm kind of mixed on that. Like, I can understand if the deer's rotten and no good, it's great, but if you're going to stop and go through that effort, just take the deer off the side of the road and go find a place for it before you take the antlers, That's how I kind of feel on it.
Harvest some of the meat off of it.
Don't let a good deer go to waste.
Yep.
Have you done that, Greg?
I have. There's been years where I didn't get anything, go all the way up north to the far north woods and maybe see one or two deer and never get a chance at them during gun season and no time to bow hunt. This was years ago, but someone hit a deer in front of me, and if it wasn't all that bad, the guts aren't hanging out of it, and
sure,
stomach blown up. I've taken my share of roadkill. I've got no shame in it. I hate to see good meat go to waste, so my family eats it. Or there's no shame of where it come from.
Yeah. No, it's better than letting it go to waste and just be like, oh, I'm too good for that. Come on. A dead deer's a dead deer, whether it's hitting the head with a truck or if it's hitting, the vitals with the
whether
gun.
it's a 30-06
The meat's
or
still meat.
a Honda Civic, either way, a bullet to bullet. So you can you can get something out of it.
Joel, what do you eat in the tree stand? What's your snack?
What do I eat in the tree stand?
Yeah, how do you get through an all-day sit?
Usually nothing.
No. Let's just pretend it's gun season for a second. What are you going to snack on?
Okay. Oh, I try and stay away from anything that's going to be loud and crunchy, but I'll usually have like a trail mix or something like that with no chocolate or anything like that.
Yeah,
Just
I know you
straight
don't
to-
like chocolate. I learned that the other day. I've known you for fucking ever, and I keep forgetting every single year you don't like chocolate, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I'm just one of those weird guys, but, anything that doesn't create a lot of scent, because I did that one year where I went out there and, I bought this sandwich from, was at Walmart or something like that, one of those pre-made sandwiches or something like that, like a cold cut, spicy thing or something.
From Walmart?
I tell you what, I was sitting out in the middle of the woods. I cracked that thing open, which is louder than hell. They make it the crunchiest freaking wrapper you can possibly think of for hunting season. I opened that thing up, and I could smell that thing from about 10 feet away.
Yeah, if you can
Like, if I
smell
would've
it, then
sat
you
down and
gotta
walked
think
away.
the deer can smell it, right? That's kind of what I think. I'm like, oh boy, this is probably a bad idea to be eating this.
Yeah.
Like even beef jerky, I'm like,
So I,
oh, I can smell this.
I know I've eaten. I guess my if I have room in my bag, I prefer apples, honestly, because then it just
Apples are
Have I
good.
missed
adds
the
to the
fucking apple
the
train?
smell into the woods and shit.
Man, there's a lot of apples.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, apples are good, but if you have a small pack or something like that, or you're going to be doing a lot of hiking and stuff, I don't recommend it because they do get squished and rotten and mushy.
Well, how long do you
But
wait
if
to
you're
eat
just going
them?
to go and sit and you. What's that?
How long you waiting to eat those fucking apples? like,
Well, you know me. I'm freaking. I'll walk 2-3 miles to get a good spot for deer hunting.
just real quick,
So,
everybody that's
I
listening.
got to drag a deer out. Yep.
Real quick, Joel, I've referenced you on the podcast several times throughout the years. You are one of the better still hunters that I know, and by far the best deer gutter that I know. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. So let me just for a second, because there's no callers behind you. So until I see someone else light up the fucking call line, we're gonna hang out with you for a minute, as long as you don't gotta go. But we saw this
I'm
buck
good.
getting dragged out of
I
the
got no
woods on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
And Joel's like, do you think I can get him to cut their scent gland off that buck? Because this guy, Joel, 2 years ago, I don't even know what happened because you work so fast when you're gutting a deer. I don't even understand what's happening. But you had shot, or your brother had shot a deer, dragged it out, and I don't know if you did it on purpose. You probably did, you fucker. Cut a scent gland open on this buck and rubbed it all over yourself, and then you had another buck charge you on a still hunt because he smelled a dominant buck. And so we're out on Sunday.
Oh no, that was 3-4 years ago. Yeah. I had picked up the deer and I cut the hocks off, the scent glands off the hind legs there, and I hung on to them, and then I didn't realize it. I did it barehanded, and then I walked through the woods and I was stalking up on another deer that I saw go up into a thicket. And before I snuck in there, I decided I was going to stop and take a quick break, took my gloves off, and grabbed my water bottle out. Well, as soon as I took my gloves off, that buck came out about 30 yards in front of me, snorting and freaking wheezing, looking, trying to smell where that little buck had come from. And that's that big 8-pointer I got that year.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah,
But how close was that shot with a rifle?
I would say probably 30, 40 yards. It wasn't far at all. I mean, I was right on the edge of the thicket. To be honest with you, it's probably the hardest shot I've ever had to take on a deer, too. Because I was sitting on a hill that was maybe about 45-degree angle. And the way I was sitting, the deer came off to my right, and I'm right-handed. So when I went to aim, I wasn't fully sitting up because I was on the hill. I had to lean back a little bit. Well, when I leaned down, like put my elbow on the ground, I couldn't see through the grass. So I ended up doing was balancing with my legs in the air, kind of balancing halfway up, almost like seesawing, like teeter-tottering, and took a shot that way on to the right at about 40 yards away.
Dude.
And I swear, I wish that shot would have been quicker, but that was like a 3-minute just sitting there holding it. My abs were burning like crazy.
So this is funny only because, like, we were out on Sunday, and I said, you should ask them if you can cut the scent glands off that buck. And Joe's like, just draw the line at asking to cut someone else's deer. Which is probably
it crossed my mind, but I didn't want to be that creepy dude that just wants to like steal like a little piece of their deer. I mean, that's just kind of weird to me.
I think that's probably the right thing to do. I mean, I don't know what everyone else thinks, but I think that's probably accurate. But dude, it was exciting to at least, like, I always joke and I see a buck and I'm like, they do exist. Like, I'm like, there is a deer right there, and he was in these woods, and he existed. He's expired now, but like, he was a real deer at one point. Like,
yeah,
you know, that's a big deal for me to see an animal like that because I don't see them just walking around ever.
Yeah, that was a good solid 8-pointer, man.
It was a real solid 8-pointer. It was a real nice looking buck, big body deer.
Do you know how old that deer was?
No, my guess is 2.5 years because that's what I think is I think that's what it would take to get to that point. I don't think that deer was under 2.5. I don't think he was older.
I think he's as old as he's gonna get.
Yeah, you and your jokes. Well, George lived a good life.
And now he's going to be filling someone's freezer.
Mm-hmm. A guy from Canada, actually.
Canada, eh?
He flew in from Canada hunting here in Wisconsin.
What do you do that for?
I don't know. He knew the guy.
Poser.
What's that Canada show you watch?
He was a nice feller, I'll tell you that much.
Letterkenny?
Letterkenny. Joel, do you watch Letterkenny?
No, I don't believe I have.
All right, I just saw D-Rock join the conversation. D-Rock, you better fucking call in.
Oh, yeah.
D-Rock, you better call in right now while Joel's still on the line.
Calling you out, D-Rock.
Anyway, you doing something?
He just had a post not too long ago with him and a nice big buck.
Yeah, no, D-Rock's been killing it, man. He's letting the Zeus loose.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's been doing.
Yeah, he is.
Are you gonna be out this weekend, buddy?
If I'm lucky, I'd love to get out, but I have a feeling it's going to be family time this weekend because I've already gotten out once or twice this week. So
yeah, family time is the best time.
Got to keep that happy.
Sarcastic, that's real.
Yeah, I got to keep that happy medium, but
yep,
it is
difficult.
Well,
the rut. I feel like the rut's just beginning, man. Like it's not full swing, but it's getting right there. It's right on the edge, I think.
And you're glassing though a lot. Like I know that there's certain fields we live pretty close by, and I know that there's fields that you are paying attention to.
Oh yeah, I know where the deer are. The problem is it's a lot of it's urbanized, where neighborhoods and stuff like that are farmers' fields and areas that we can't necessarily hunt. But that doesn't stop me from glassing them and keeping an eye on the patterns of them.
Well, that's just it. I think that's an important thing. Like I'm glassing fields that I don't have access to either, but I just like in the context of the local geo area, I can get a sense for what's happening. Like so when I was glassing at 4:30 p.m. on my way to the gym home from work, and I didn't see any bucks out and all the does were in the field, that tells me something, right? I mean, how about you, Greg? Do you get your binoculars in your truck?
My binoculars are in my truck in my bag attached to my safety harness.
And can you shine right now too?
You can shine.
Till 10 p.m., right? In this state, Wisconsin.
Is it 10 or 9? You might want to check the regs on
I thought it was 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me.
Might be 9 o'clock.
Listen to Greg.
But when you're doing this, no weapons can be.
That is correct. You get the fucking make sure the
I was just going to suggest that when you get done.
No bows, no arrows, no nothing. Make sure it's all put away because the warden decides to give you a visit and he has to check your vehicle and he finds a bow in a case. You're in deep doo-doo.
But you're shining.
You're shining.
Are you shining or glassing or both?
Me? Honestly, I'm not doing either right now. With all the stuff I've got going on. Any other year, honestly, I was just relying on my going in and scouting, being mobile. I was a weekend warrior all last year. I think I did one weeknight hunt. That's the night I shot my doe last year. And that was a Friday night. I bailed out of work early.
Nice.
And saw a lot of deer that night, but just based off the sign. And I had run intel, my form of running intel being all my trail cameras that I set out, ran those till probably the end of August and pulled them. I knew what was there. I knew that I had a good group of does. I knew there were several different bucks. This guy, obviously, I did not have him on camera, but I had quite a few of his pals on camera. So
That's Greg's buck.
Yep.
That he's pointing at, for those that are listening.
But I relied on being mobile, stand sticks on my back, reading the sign, the trails, so on and so forth. Rubs, fresh rub line. Where I got this guy, he had the whole area tore up, fresh rub line, scrapes all over the place. I picked a spot where I thought would give me the best vantage in between all the scrapes and the rubs, and an hour and a half later it happened. So, but I put in a lot of miles on my boots, filling my boots and getting into places that, I heard deer chasing, and I heard grunting, and I heard, a doe bleat, and just, following where that noise went, or where it was coming from, and then going in there and investigating. Well, it was way too wet in there. There was a couple high spots, and I did jump one deer off of a muskrat hut out in the middle of this stuff. And
those muskrat huts look like deer in some properties.
Yeah, well, this had a bed on it. There was hair all over it and everything, and then there was duckweed all around this, and there was a trail going out of the duckweed where the deer had bailed off and took a hike. But I found other scrapes and stuff on the high ground after I got through all that waist deep water. So this year it's just been different for me with selling our house and moving and just not putting in the time. I made a pretty good effort throughout the summer to locate deer, and it just kind of went by the wayside with vacation happening and putting an offer in a house and then selling our house, and it's just eating up a lot of time that I would in some cases take to
time is the biggest asset.
Yeah. So I'm not mad that I had to do that at all, because it's going to better my situation here hopefully soon. But I know where I can go find deer. I just got to find the time here to do it.
And Joel, are you doing a lot of scouting in off season and springtime when things are frozen and shit, or what are you doing there?
Oh yeah, but to be honest with you, the most time I do most of my scouting is usually after deer season, believe it or not.
Yep.
But I wait for like the marshes and all that stuff to freeze up, and then you can really get back up in there. Normally you'd be walking through waist deep of water or finding sinkholes up to your chest. But once that stuff freezes over, you can get back in there, and you can see where the deer have been. You can see where the old rubs were, and that's what's given me a lot of good insight. And it's just fun to explore back in there too, because the deer will still be back in there. It's just, it's just amazing to look at. The areas I hunt are a lot of marshlands and a lot of rivers and stuff. And then once it freezes over, it really concentrates them by those water sources more. To me, that's the best time to scout, is like towards the end of the season. It kind of contradicts, about scouting prior too, but if you can remember what you scouted the year before, it gives you a better idea, because a lot of these deer will come back to the same spots once the pressure comes on again,
Sure, and that's all based on time of year too. You're going to see some of that sign left, but you got to remember what time of year that's probably going to be. It's not going to be in the middle of summer, more than likely, if they're chasing away, or having to fight with deer flies and having to deal with less human pressure. They may not be back in some of those spots. It might not be a good spot until after gun season, when all the gun pressures come through.
Hey, D-Rock,
yeah,
can you say hi
that's
to
what I
Joel?
was getting at.
What's good, Joel? How you doing, man? What's going on, boys?
Hey, D-Rock, I'm glad you called in finally.
Sorry, one of the few times I wasn't listening in. I'm actually playing Mr. Mom right now. Got the kids fed, doing laundry, making sure everything's in order at home. Yeah, gotta make sure everything's in order at home, so this way during the rut I can bounce out whenever and not hear anything. And I'm leaving for New York on Sunday. So
Sunday.
Yeah, you gotta do the super dad thing first, you know.
Exactly. So what's going on? What's the topic at hand?
We're just talking about the rut, dude. And Joel is East Coast bow hunting podcast listener. Him and I were just talking about you the other day, and he's like, dude, D-Rock keeps it real. And I was like, I fucking know. It's the only podcast I listen to.
Yeah, nothing but mad respect for you, D-Rock. I love watching and freaking listening to your show.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. All the kind words, man. Joe, where are you out of, Joe?
I'm actually just down the road from Eric, so I'm out of Wisconsin out here.
Oh, no shit. And you're listening to us East Coast hooligans, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You're surrounded.
Hey,
dude, that's badass.
Information's better than no information, you know. Whether it all applies or not, I mean, I'm not going to be going out through the Everglades and all that kind of stuff and the, you know, airboats and stuff, getting them deer out there. But it's still interesting and fun to watch. You know, different tactics can still apply to different hunting.
Different deer hunting cultures are pretty cool to witness and listen to.
I 100% agree, man, and that's all I'm trying to do is just exploit the East Coast for what it is, because there's many different opinions on many different style of hunting, and you know what? It's the only hardcore way to do it out here in the coast. I mean, you got a few of the greats over here. I mean, you get some of the few greats going out for Sika deer hunting or hog hunting, gator hunting. I mean, from Pigman to Kip Campbell to Steve Vernella. I mean, East Coast got something to offer. They're hunting over here. What?
D-Rock, all I can think about is that you said man instead of Meng.
Yeah, I don't have enough bourbon in me for my Mexican accent to start slipping out, you know?
Come on. I can't do it for you. I got lots of scotch in me. I got enough in me for the four of us, I think.
Well, that's not a bad thing, man. That's not a bad thing.
Say it was.
So, Joe, out there in Wisconsin, I got a question for you, man. What are you seeing for rut right now? Is rut full effect, or is it just starting to kick, or what are you seeing over there?
I think it's right on the breaking point. Like, it's right there. I think a couple of does are getting close to it. Some of the bucks are triggering on it, but there's still a couple of deer that just aren't that into it.
Oh, no shit. So it's basically pre-rut right now.
I think it's right on the verge. Like, it's right about to kick off. I mean, with the temperatures dropping and, you know, everything else going on, it's almost perfect timing.
D-Rock, what's the temperature by you?
Interesting.
We'll tell you what the temperature is by us right now. We'll tell you our forecast if you tell you ours. You show me yours, and we'll show you ours.
You don't have to show me. I'll always show you mine. So what's going on over here in the coast is we're still having kind of really warm days for what I like to see during the day, but the night temps we're breaking into the 30s. We had our first frost earlier this week, so I had to go in the garden and kind of pick what was left as far as veggies and stuff like that. So
I mean, tomatoes? Do you got fresh tomatoes?
Yeah, I got it all, man. I got it all.
Meng, it's BLT season.
Yeah, don't forget the jalapenos.
Common treat.
Oh, you know I got those, man. You know I got those. But yeah, man, to answer your question, we're still seeing comfortable days throughout the day, and they're nice cold temps in the morning. So the morning hunts seem to be more active. I'll put it that way.
Interesting.
I'm seeing more deer in the mornings versus the afternoons, and then nonetheless, sundown is probably right around just before 5 o'clock, which makes it tough to get in for afternoon hunt, especially if you're a working man, or a working man, plain and simple. So, what about you guys though? How's your temperatures out there?
We're like mid-20s, dropping into the mid-20s tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna get real cold now.
Nice and chilly.
We're heading into winter full speed now. Right now in Wisconsin, at least, and some of the other Midwestern folks that are tuning in, like winter is here, It's gonna be a long year for us. We're gonna get snow at 7 a.m. We're gonna get a couple inches, I think.
Yeah, a couple inches. So it'll be an interesting commute.
27 degrees right now.
A few counties away.
7:25 p.m. and 11/5/2019.
Yeah. So far.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. So you guys, go ahead.
Last week we got 2 snowstorms that were anywhere from 3 to 5 inches.
In October, dude.
In October. So I was moving all my crap out of the house and into a trailer in a snowstorm. That was a real treat. But we've been having kind of a roller coaster too. So I finally made it out on Sunday for a little bit, and it seemed, I think it was probably mid-40s, which felt a little warm to me. And then it started to tail off and drop down.
We're going to have early ice fishing season here.
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe we'll get ice fishing before January. That'd be great.
That would be great. Debbie, great.
Yeah, I mean, I always love ice fishing myself, and that's something I always partake. But I still have deer on the mind, man. I've been it's kind of been tough because I've been passing up some good bucks, especially for Connecticut, because I'm after Fabio right now. I know East Coast Trev's been getting after it too. He's got a couple hit listers on there. He just can't really seem to narrow down. But I'm telling you, they're right now. We're on the cusp of the rut, because I think rut will be in full effect probably by the end of the week, if not early next week. We're definitely going to be breaking freezing points towards the end of the week. I know they originally forecasted snow, but now we're between the moon, we're getting good moon, and then on top of that, the temps are dropping, and we're not going to get snow, which is cool, but it's definitely going to be on. And, of course, rut is going to be in full effect when I'm not going to be home, so I'm just afraid I'm going to miss Fabio this year, but I'll stay hopeful and stay positive.
That's the way to be, D-Rock, and I know that's how you are. You're entered into a chance to win some heated hunts gear, so not that you need it, but you might need it. You just never know. I know that's why you called.
What do you mean I entered?
By calling in, you entered in. That's it. That's how it works.
It's automatic.
Yep. Now you're entered in. You're a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 7 people. You got a 1 in 7 chance. I don't know what the percentage is on that, because we all know I can't fucking do math, but that's whoever the math is.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that. No, so go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't need to cut you.
Oh, no, I was going to say East Coast Trev and I, especially East Coast Trev, know heated hunts very well. They're actually good folks over there, man. So I'll tell you what, if I do so happen to win it, we will reciprocate and turn it around and kind of re-gift it with your permission, E.
Yes.
And then this way we'll sponsor it, or we'll call it the Where to Hunt giveaway, if it so happens to fall that way.
We'll see what the Wheel of Death has to say, and I only say Wheel of Death because I discovered that in this podcast, Wheel of Death means that some deer are going to fucking die.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
You might need that heated hunt to get Fabio in there.
Joel hunted downwind of a heated hunt scent dispenser on Sunday. Joel, how'd that go for you?
Did you taste
Oh my God, I could smell that thing it was strong, man. It felt like I had my head in the doe's ass.
That's my kind of hunting.
I mean, I wasn't worried about my smell at all, honestly. I was afraid I was going to get raped if something came in, honestly. It was perfect. It was very good, strong smell.
Oh, that's great.
That's awesome. So what do the Wisco boys, like, what are your guys' technique out there? You guys rocking, like, supreme scent control? Or are you just playing the wind? I mean, it seems like you guys like rocking the heated hunts. Do you sometimes think that works against you at times? Or do you think that's the way to go right now, especially with on the cusp?
Well, I can put my 2 cents worth in on it. One, I don't really use any scents. I run, I play the wind. As far as scent control is concerned, I try to be somewhat mindful. I mean, I don't let the dog rub all over me before I leave the house, but I don't also, wear my hunting gear into the gas station and everywhere else. So, I guess moderate scent control when it comes to my clothing care and all that. It doesn't go in areas with real heavy cooking odors or anything like that. I do hang them out and let them air out. But I play the wind, hanging and hunting my area. If I have an area that I think is good and I get there and, find out the wind is bad, well, it's time to pick a different area. So.
Nice. So you don't ozone at all, Greg?
No, sir.
So I do, but I only use it like a washing machine. I think that there's good value in, so I use a scent crusher bag. I quote unquote, crush my scents, my clothes in there. I treat it like a washing machine so I don't have to fucking wash all my clothes, all my fucking underlayers. So that's been valuable for me because laundry, and not to be sexist, but as a guy, I'm sure there's a lot of women that hate laundry too, but like I hate doing laundry and it's time consuming. So I just throw my shit in my bag and I scent crush it. So there's that, and additionally,
I laugh because I'm literally like have my hands in dirty drawers as I'm throwing it in the washer right now.
Oh, boy.
Good for you, buddy. No, I hate it.
Daddy up.
But I use the Heated Hunts because they sponsor the podcast. So like, let's give it a go, right? Let's roll the dice on that shit. And I sprayed my boots with some Brute buck scent, some like dominant buck scent. And then I use the scent dispenser, the Heated Hunt scent dispenser with some doe piss, some estrus, and thinking that like, okay, as long as I'm trekking into the woods, some deer, and this is very subjective, I think that maybe the deer will think that there's a big buck walking through the woods, and then I set up on this scent of the estrus. I think maybe the combination of the two might do me some good. And heating deer piss is not a new idea. This is just new technology. My dad sent me a photo of a magazine from like 1992 where the concept was some guys would dig a hole in some dirt and put some coals and light them on fire, get them all coaled up and hot, put a pan of deer piss, of doe estrus, in the fucking pan and let that heat up because heated deer piss does better than just some cold scent piss. So like heating your hunt, so to speak, is not a new concept. It's an effective concept. It's just a new way to do it. And so that was my kind of ideology. Like how can I, and by the way, this is coming from the quote unquote okayest hunter, right? So I need all the help I can get.
No, I definitely, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Especially if you're laying down some estrus, you want it to be quote unquote fresh. And the only way you can do that is make sure there's some heat to it. I don't know if I'd be cooking the motherfucker because that shit probably smells rancid. But
1987, that's what they were doing, bro.
Yeah, that's got to change. That's got to change
the
chemical makeup of it and put it.
I'm not knocking the old ways, but man, it does make sense though for
when
sure.
You pee, it's hot.
Laying down.
I take a pee right now and just on my leg. I'm gonna be nice and warm.
You gave me too much of a visual picture right there, E. Too much. Man, so Joe, what are your goals right now for RUT? Like, what techniques are you approaching with just to get after it? I mean, or for the listeners out there, maybe the East Coast could take a little Wisco advice by a helpful hint that you're taking as an approach for RUT time. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, the way I look at it is, I mean, there's like, I feel like there's almost like two categories of bucks, or there's a bucks that kind of fall in each category. I mean, you got like the core bucks that kind of stay around the same area all year round, and they're always around the same does and everything else. And then you have the non-core bucks, which when the rut kicks in, you know, they'll breed their area, and then they move into another area, or they move around, or they're loners. So I've been noticing a lot with, like, when the rut comes through, you start seeing trail cam pictures at random times, at different times, with new bucks that you haven't been seeing all year round. You know, so my goal is to just try to, like, track where the does are, and then also, my new technique this year is I've been tracking the hunters more than I have the deer. I've been seeing where they've been going in, when they've been going out. Yeah, I've been, you know, that and the scouting. I drive down the road and I see, okay, I saw these 4 cars there last week. Hey, this is a new car here. This car's here every Saturday. You know, just trying to track all that. So it's like, okay, now I know where the pressure is. I know the deer are starting to move, you know, and you got to factor in the wind. I mean, for the scent control, I usually just do like, some scent killer, keep my hunting clothes separate from the dogs or the cats and stuff. Spray it down a little bit, and then if I'm in a bad situation where the wind's kind of swirling, I like to use some doe urine or something like that. But I try not to get too much on me. Usually, my preferred method would be like we were talking to Eric earlier about taking the hocks or taking the scent glands off. You take that off and tie it onto a string and drag behind you about 2-3 feet and draw through the woods. You'd be surprised how many deer will just not even care that you walk through their bedding area.
You know what? That's solid advice to bring it back. I'm sorry, Eve. I'm kind of jibber-jabbing right now, but that's solid advice with kind of scouting the vehicles and the hunters, man, because especially right now, I'm a newer whitetail hunter myself, and that's what I've been learning and seeing for myself and observing is that if you scout the hunters, like you see where, especially if you're hunting publicly, and you see where the pressure's building up and where you, not necessarily where you don't want to hunt, but maybe the precise place you do not want to access the woods because if you know exactly or a vicinity of where they're sitting, maybe you could kind of guess where they're pushing those deer. And that's one approach that I took this year, and I set for the boys as like a task is, last year we hunted as a collective a lot, and we scouted up new properties a lot. And then this year, the best way to approach it after doing that last year was to kind of all go our separate ways. So this way, we did our homework last year on the new properties, and this year we know how to approach the new properties separately because our schedules are so different. And we've been very successful all the way around. And that's probably, I owe it to what you just mentioned, Joel, just scouting the hunters, just knowing where not to go. That's a good ninja tip, bro. Good ninja tip.
Well, the other way to look at it, too, is like I was saying, I do a lot of marsh hunting, a lot of wetland hunting where it's like you can't hunt unless you got waders. And there's a couple spots where I can't get to unless I bring a boat with me or a kayak with me. And those are the spots that, you get to an area in the big marshland, and then off in the distance, like a mile or two back, you'll see this big old island. I call them like Buck Islands and stuff. And that's why I said I scout a lot towards the end of the year, because in the middle of the year, or, beginning of like that now season, with all the rainfall that we've been getting and the melted snow, that water's up high. Them deer don't want to go walk and waste through deep through water for a mile either. But once that freaking ground freezes up, they can start heading out there, and that's where I'm going to be going. Because I know them other hunters, they don't want to hunt more than 100 yards from the road. And I've been watching where they go. They go in the same spots every time because it's easy, it's convenient. They got a nice cut trail to get to where they want to, and they just cut off the trail. You gotta go where other hunters aren't gonna go too.
Yeah, for sure. Early season or month of October, that's one thing that I found personally is there's a lot of hardcore hunters out there still, man. And I want to say, like, right where you think best advice that I've learned this season specifically is like, and I've learned it with the Modern Assassin too, hunting down in Maryland, is just when you think you've pushed yourself to your limits, push yourself a little more, because guess what? Your limits are probably the same as another hardcore hunter, and if you push even further, if you have it in you, don't ever push yourself too far, because
like D-Rock,
you don't want accidents to happen.
Almost died in a swamp, from what I heard. That's the David Goggins rule. We all got 40% left in the fucking tank, man. That's the 40% rule.
Dude, fourth quarter, man. I grew up playing football, and Syracuse taught me well is fourth quarters when you dig in deep, and you're right. I almost, not that I almost died, but I was out for the count, dragging the deer, the Sika deer out of the swamp.
You gotta leave it all out in the field, man. No pun intended.
Exactly, and that's exactly what happened. Is Garrett wanted to go one way, and I just pushed myself further this time around, because the last time I didn't do that, I was out of range for this awesome stag, and I didn't want to walk back out of there empty-handed. Especially, I think we did over 6 miles on that hunt. So, just on public land too. And exactly what I'm referring to, what I was talking about a minute ago, is push yourself further. Is I came out successful, but at the same time, when we were walking back, where we thought we were pushing ourselves enough, we ran into more hunters back where we necessarily started to push ourselves even further, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense.
That Sika,
but yeah,
that's
man,
pretty awesome.
Dude,
I like the strategy there, D-Rock.
Yeah, man. Best advice, and Garrett can attest to this, if you ever do seek a deer hunting, I reached out to Giannis Patelis and from the Meat Eater crew, and we communicate enough, not as much as I would like to, but they're on a whole different level. But it did take them a bit to come out successful out of that seek a deer hunting. He wanted to go, he wasn't able to make it happen, so Callahan went with Ranella, and I'm just humbled to know Garrett and his crew, because we made it happen in a week, and not in comparison at all, because they're a whole different level, man, and they're awesome hunters, and I look up to them, but it's not easy. I'll leave it at that. It's not easy at all whatsoever.
Not at all. You're absolutely right. I mean, Joel and I go way back to 2004 or 5 when we met, and we pride ourselves on having adventures, man. I don't, deer aside, we just want to have an adventure, and so that's the goal of every hunt that him and I go on, is how fucking stupid can we get out in the woods? How stuck can we get? Right. How lost can we get?
I don't know if I'd go that route of how dumb we could be.
I mean, that's what happens, Joel.
I mean, I'm not going to say I don't do dumb things by any means, but we do things. It's like, well, how often are we going to get this chance? Yeah, let's just go over this next ridge and let's see that. Oh, let's go up that cliff, and
let's go into that swamp. I mean, you got fucking stuck.
You gotta push it.
Yep.
So, Greg, I'm curious to ask you, man, is how because I know you've been passing up some deer. What exactly are you looking for this year, man?
Well, you see what's sitting over Eric's shoulder here, right?
My right shoulder. That's
yeah.
What is that?
10? I don't know what it scores, and I don't really care. But it's a good deer, right? I mean, a lot of people say
it's a good buck.
Yeah, it's a good buck. I'd be happy with something that size or bigger. I've been passing a lot of 1.5 and probably 2.5-year-olds that really, they're not to the edge of the years yet. I had one that was to the edge of the years. I could have shot him twice, and it just wasn't what I wanted to shoot. And I know there's bigger deer out there, so I've got bigger deer that I've taken inventory of on camera. I'm holding out, and even if it means I got to hunt into December when those young fawns start to come into estrus and hunt that late rut, I'll go give that a shot, even if it's cold. I've done it in the years past. Hunted when there's a foot of snow on the ground and you can barely pull your bow back because you got to worry about your fingers getting frostbite when you're pulling it back. So I don't have a problem with putting in the work. I'll wait.
Hell yeah, man!
I don't need to film my buck tag every year. I've got doe meat in the freezer still. Gun season's coming up. I'm going to have an opportunity to fill another another doe tag, or maybe I'll shoot a buck if it really gets me cranked. But I've got meat in the freezer. I'm really not to the point where I need to go kill something just to kill it. Yeah.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. That's awesome. Maybe that's just a youngness in me, or maybe the location where I live, like Connecticut. There's so many deer, man. Yeah. And we actually do a service to the state, believe it or not. It's kind of morbid as that sounds,
right?
But it is a service even to the population, man, because we're one of the few states that doesn't have CWD, and I don't want to say the cursive word yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think, yeah, and I think I think part of the reason we don't have bigger bucks like out Midwest in comparison is because maybe antler restriction would be the remedy for that. But if we put antler restriction in Connecticut, I'm telling you, we're getting every disease imaginable out of a deer. Guaranteed. There's just that many deer. And so to hear you say that is like, I get it, man, because even hunting Ohio was an experience because I'm passing up these huge monsters. I mean, to me, like I said, it's only my third season hunting whitetail. To me, they're huge. I'm passing up these monsters, and it was a cool way to like learn that, hunting with these big buck killers, and they gave me full reins. They said shoot what you want, and first hunting with the modern assassin, then switching to Keith Chirac. I call him Keith the Drug because he's a hype man and he just gets you hooked. And from Tattooed in the Wild, shout out to them.
Keith Heroin.
He's definitely, yeah, exactly. He's a big buck slayer, and just hunting next to him, it's like the very first sit I saw this monster 8. And he's like, "You gonna shoot it?" And he's a hype man, he gets you excited, get your blood boiling. And he's like, "You gonna shoot it? You gonna shoot it?" Like that, whispering too. And right away, I kind of just shut him down. Like, no, like first sit, no, I don't want to fucking first sit out there, kill something. Then what am I gonna do? Get fucked up for the rest of the week? I don't want to do that. It's all
you
about
should have
the
done
hunt.
that, D-Rock. Lesson learned. You should have fucking done that.
Done what? Shoot it and then get fucked up the rest of the week?
Yeah. What? Yes.
No, hell no, man. Hell no, man. I need to learn, son. No, I want to be in the woods and learn. I really want to. I'm striving to be a big buck killer, and I got a long way to go. So if that's the case, man, I got to save the partying for after the kill.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
That's fun you say that because I hunted with Connor Wakefield last weekend in the driftless area. So go figure, driftless with the driftler. And
yeah,
I told him, he's like, "What do you want to kill?" I said, "Dude, I'll take what I can get. Like I'm the okayest hunter, right? But you got to climb that ladder. That's how I feel. And so I'm willing to take that nice 8 before I get that 10, 12, etc. Sure, if I could leapfrog, I would take that 12 and beyond. But I know where I'm at. I acknowledge where I'm at, and I'd be very, very happy with a nice 8. That's me, and that's my own personal goal. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I encourage everyone to do that. And hey, take not me for example, but I mean I had no shame in my game. I took down a spike in Connecticut, but it was a big motherfucking spike. And even Garrett asked me, he's like, "Well, why'd you take it, man? Why'd you fill one of your buck tags for Connecticut with that spike?" I'm like, you know what?
The answer is because
I'm like initially. Well, the thing is initially Trev and I, East Coast Trev and I went in the woods to get content. That was our mission, to just get footage. Like we weren't necessarily going to kill, but we always bring our bows just in case we get that monster walking by. But for some reason, man, that spike got me going. Like my blood started going. I didn't shake or anything. Honestly, I got buck fever one time on a doe last year. Go figure. And for some reason, that spike really got me going. So I took him, man. It's just one of those things. He's like, I
don't defend it.
Yeah, and he's like, well, that's exactly what I'm getting at. Is the modern assassin's like, you know what? I respect that, man. Mm-hmm. He's like, you should take it if it gets you going like that, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. So it's the only reason I passed that first hit, big buck, and to bounce off of what you were saying, E, is I don't know. It's like something told me no, so I didn't. And trust me, it was exciting to see, but something told me no, so I just followed my instinct.
Yeah, follow your instinct, and that's what makes it better anyway, I think, is if you suddenly feel the urge, maybe there's something there telling you, yeah, this is the one, then you do it. It's just how it is.
Hey, Joel, you still there?
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm listening. I'm just enjoying it. So no, I 100% agree with D-Rock. I mean, it's not about what you kill this size. I think it was Ted Nugent. I just saw a video of him not too long ago that shame, they're hunters just for the size of their bucks. They're like saying, oh yeah, it's not a big buck. You should have taken that. I mean, I think that's the thing. We really need to try and, deter people from doing. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a giant freaking 30-point buck or if it's a little spiker. If you get your adrenaline going and you enjoyed that hunt and you had fun with it, who is anyone to say whether or not you should or shouldn't have? I mean, it's all about the experience and having the fun. I mean, I'm completely agreeing with you.
I will.
Hell yeah, man.
I will say real quick.
Go ahead, Ian.
If anybody shoots a buck, a doe, I don't care, a heterosexual deer, they can't tell the difference. If it's a 2-pointer, a 4-pointer, a fucking 14-pointer, whatever it is, a no-pointer, if you get one of those deer and someone bashes you, send them my way. I'll fucking tear them up. You send them my way. I got your back.
Damn, you get rowdy. I like it, man.
Just saying.
I like it. You got a little East Coast blood in you, bro.
He's got a little Glenn Levitt in his blood, is what he's got.
But I'm serious, guys. Like, sick me
I
on
will
those
agree
folks.
with you. If you need to tag out,
and I'll kill them with
if you
kindness.
get winded,
That's what
let
I'll
me
do.
know.
I won't even be that mean. I'll just be really nice to them.
And like our previous caller, Philip, even said, it doesn't matter. Somebody else is not paying for your tag. You're paying for your tag.
That's right. You shoot what you want.
You shoot what you want to shoot. Somebody can rip on me for my agenda. Fine, go ahead, do whatever you got to do.
Who said that, Greg?
We had a caller call in.
Caller number 3, Philip, out of Ohio,
Phillip
Southwest
out of
Ohio.
Yep, Southwest Ohio. Philip, he was a listener of
Working class.
And he called in and just kind of had his little soapbox speech, and we totally appreciated it. But he's a good conservationist and a good sportsman.
That's awesome, man. I like that. I'm going to use that from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah, to run on that note, man, my buddy of mine, he's got a younger girl or whatever, and she's maybe about 13 or so. Well, she went out and she was bow hunting, and she got her first buck this year. And, she's had 6s and 8-pointers and stuff in front of her. She's had big does and little does and stuff. And at the beginning of the season, she picked out a deer and said, hey, I want that one. And it was just a little 4-pointer, nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary, just a little 4-pointer.
Well, maybe
I remember her saying that back in
and she just marked him for death right then.
Yeah, well, she saw it on the trail cam. She's like, I want that one, Dad. So sure enough, they went out there and they were hunting it. He's got trail cam pictures from August of that deer, and she got it just this last week or two. It was 2 weeks ago. She just got it. I mean, she set up the bow. She got everything all set, and she drew back on it. She waited for a clean shot. She shot it. She tracked it. She found it. I mean, she did everything. And like I said, it was just a 4-pointer. But to her, I mean, they're getting that thing mounted because it's her first deer all by herself. Good. I mean, this is something that's it just throws me, I know them really well and stuff. And I'm super grateful that she got that deer because it's just, I honestly wish I could have been in that, in there with her, watching her do that. Not even hunting, just to watch her shoot that. And that's what the experience is about, getting the young kids out there and getting them to, appreciate it. Like, she saw one deer and she tracked that one deer. She passed up other deer for that one deer. I mean, it's no different than if it would have been a 12-pointer passing up all the 10s, He let all the other
talk about a success story.
One 4-pointer.
Yeah, that's a success story. That girl decided that was the one she wanted and went and held out for it and waited for it and hunted it down.
Yeah.
And just like other guys will do with a 180 class deer, we're gonna wait until that one shows up.
Yeah, I that's a really awesome. Cool story just for the fact that she didn't want a big deer. She didn't want something crazy. She wanted something, just her size, I guess you'd say. Something more her volume.
Yep.
Dude.
She got it and did everything herself. I mean, it's amazing. Like, I give my buddy props. Eric knows this guy is my buddy Jason. I give the guy props. I mean, she's an all-out girl for freaking hunting. She's just the perfect girl for hunting.
It's good shit, man.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Well, fellas,
she's gonna make go ahead.
No, D-Rock, finish your thought. It's more important than mine.
No. I was just gonna say she's gonna make another hunter very happy when she gets older, so she can experience or share her knowledge and experience when she gets more kills under her belt. So that's cool to hear, man.
Oh yeah, he's gonna show up some guy. He's gonna come in here thinking he's some hot dog hunter. He's gonna come in and just frickin' slay him and just make him just belittled.
You teach her how to cut a deer.
But in a good way.
He's got it made in the shade.
Yeah.
Joel,
yeah.
if you picture someone in a movie doing some butterfly knife shit, that's Joel gutting a deer. It's like bing, bang, boom, it's done.
I know it's going to sound sadistic, but to me, that's kind of my favorite part right there. That means I've gotten the kill. It's mine. It's not getting away anymore. It's done.
Or it's mine. You're like, I'll do it.
It's going to the freezer.
Yep.
It's good shit. Hey, fellas, thanks for calling in tonight. I appreciate it a whole bunch.
It was great talking to you guys. Look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, you guys as well. So I appreciate you guys letting me hang out as long as you did.
Heck yeah.
Thanks for taking time.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys supporting the podcast, and that's why I support you guys. And definitely cool to kind of touch base with Wisco boys. And you guys aren't all about the cheese curds, so that's really cool to find out.
Damn right. All right, fellas.
Killing a deer with a heart attack.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, good luck this season, guys. It's just getting started, so have fun.
Yep.
Be safe.
We'll talk to you soon.
Hell yeah, boys.
All right. Have a good night.
That was a good night. That was a good. That was a lot of calls.
It was. Well, we spent a lot of time on the phone with
The last two.
D-Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Connecting the dots.
Connecting the dots.
So, hey, everybody, thanks for tuning into the show. We're going to go ahead and end the live session, and this will be published tonight. So if you want to hear more, tune back in, and it'll be live tomorrow in podcast land. Have a good night, everybody.
Peace.